1. Live video starting. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Hello everybody. Tonight we are going to talk about food manufacturing companies because something is going on that is not good and people need to be warned about what they're doing. So as I always say, if I wait to be, this is just a live streaming, if I wait to be nicely organized with a lot of ready pictures and settings and whatever, I'll never have time to make any video. So it'll have to be how I can while being on the run, doing a million of things. So please forgive me the poor setting of my videos, but it's either that or I will never make any video. Also, about the topic for today, I don't know. This must be very clear. I am not going to accuse the intentions of these food manufacturers, of whoever is running these companies. I don't know if they're doing this on purpose, with ill intention, or if they're just confused, if they're doing this unintentionally. It is not my job to judge their inner feelings, but clearly what they're doing is wrong and needs to be exposed, and people need to be warned about this, especially people with food allergies. This will target misleading, confusing, and if not deceiving, ambiguous labels and claims about allergens. So let's start. Okay, so let's give some context. In the last few years, I've been seeing more and more food manufacturing companies, a growing trend, adding contradictory allergen claims on their products. Let me show you a couple of examples. I am sad that I'm going to use these examples because the two companies that make the products that I'm going to show now in pictures, they actually make a great line of products. They are very far-sighted in terms of formulation. They make very clean products, grain-free, paleo-friendly, etc. But it's been a long time. I saw a lot of products affected by this defective labeling. And you know, when you see things repeatedly, like 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, at the 5th times you start thinking, you know what, let me take my phone and let me start taking some pictures. So only recently I decided to do this video and I started gathering pictures, but I don't remember the other brands, the other products that I saw before. So I will have to use these, but other than this, for everything else, these two companies are doing a great job. Anyway, to be safe, I blacked out the names of the companies, their website, and the UPC code of the products. Okay, so let's start showing you some examples. For example, here we have a picture, which I'm gonna put on the screen in a moment. A picture of 2 muffins in a box. 1 second, it will appear. There it is. 2 muffins in a box. So you can see on this product, the label, you can see here gluten-free. This is a claim. This is an allergen-free claim, in this case for gluten, and there is even the symbol. This is the symbol for a gluten-free product, showing the air of wheat with the forbidden sign on it. Now let's go. Okay, so what's going on here? Sorry. All right. So you can see that on one side, this label says gluten-free. What does that tell you? That if you have a gluten allergy or if you have a celiac disease, you can eat this product because it's gluten-free. The product does not contain gluten. Let's take another couple of pictures of this product here. This is the back of the box. Unfortunately, there was a light reflection, but it can still be read. You can see here, our products are free from gluten, peanuts, soy, etc., etc., etc. So again, this is another claim. Our products are free from gluten, which means if you have an immune-mediated allergy to gluten, you can eat it safely. But then, if you keep looking on the same product in another corner, here's what it says. Let's make it bigger. Disclaimer: our products are not prepared in a gluten-free facility. I mean, are we kidding? So, does this bloody product have or not gluten? Can it have or not gluten? So, in this case, they even added the word disclaimer. So, they're literally claiming something and then disclaiming that something. Before, they're claiming in front of the product, they're claiming that it's gluten-free. Why? To attract sales? So that even people with allergy are gonna buy their products? To expand their market? But then behind, they disclaim what they claimed in another point of the packaging. They say, disclaimer, our products are not prepared in a gluten-free facility. What does that mean? It means that they're covering their butt. If their product is not prepared in a gluten-free facility, it means that it's prepared in a facility that has gluten, which means that the product might get contaminated with gluten in their facility. And why would a food manufacturing company use a disclaimer like that? It's called a precautionary warning or a warning statement or whatever. There are many different ways to define this kind of statements. Sometimes they write simply may contain gluten or may contain traces of gluten or whatever, or soy or whatever other major allergen they have in their facility. So why do they do that? Because if somebody buys the product, eats it with an allergy and gets sick, if gluten or wheat or any other source of gluten, barley, whatever, I don't remember in English, segale, rye, that's the translation, etc. If it's not mentioned in the ingredient, so it doesn't say in the ingredient it has any wheat or gluten source, so a person with an allergy buys it, eats it, and gets sick, if that person can sue the company. If the product gets analyzed in a lab of the government, which in Canada would be CFIA, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, in US it would be USDA or whatever FDA, now it depends by the legislation if it's of a state jurisdiction or a federal jurisdiction, that company can end in big troubles. It might end up having to pay a lot of money to the persons that got sick. It can end up accused by the government of mislabeling or undeclared allergen. That's the statement. Undeclared allergen, meaning that the product contained a major allergen, such as wheat, soy, milk, crustaceans, etc., eggs, peanuts, but it was not declared on the label, which puts the company in trouble under great liability. But in this way, by adding these kind of statements, they said it's made in a facility that is not gluten-free, or some other, let me show you, some other companies, they say, they write, for example, they write produced, unfortunately this is a picture of the bag that is a little swollen, it's cassava chips, so it's a little bent, the writing, but you can still read it. Produced, let me see if it's not okay, produced in a facility which processes nuts, tree nuts, and wheat, which is a source of gluten. So they use these precautionary statements, so if something happens, they're covered. It's written that there's wheat in the facility, there's gluten, there's nuts, whatever. So you have been warned. It's not undeclared allergen. If somehow somebody finds out there is an allergen in that, it's declared, which is good practice, except you cannot write on the other side of the package the exact opposite, which would be, for this product, again, the same problem. Gluten-free, there it is. Can you see it at the bottom? Here, gluten-free. So in front you write gluten-free. So you are attracting a larger market also, which includes also all the people that have gluten allergy. So in front, gluten-free. Where's the, okay, in front, gluten-free. In the back, may contain gluten, because wheat is a source of gluten. So may contain wheat, it means may contain gluten. So does it have gluten or not? You are claiming and disclaiming. This is not good. Here's the story. Here's how it should be. If a manufacturing company, okay, so now let me expand this again and explain. Here's how it should be. If a manufacturing company is not, for any reason, because it's in the facility, because from the supplier, because whatever, because of the other company that produces the packaging, any reason, if for any reason a food manufacturer cannot be 100% sure that a given allergen, such as gluten or soy or whatever, is not in the product, so if they cannot be absolutely sure that the product is free of that allergen, and we will see how they could be sure, then they have to write it may contain gluten, may contain soy, may contain etc. Whatever allergen they are not sure that the product is free of. They have to add this precautionary statement, the warning statement. On the other hand, if they want to claim, let me show you again, like they're doing here, if they want to claim gluten-free, like it's written here, see my mouse pointer, our products are free from gluten, peanut, soy, etc. If they want to claim, see here on the right hand side of this box, gluten-free. If they want to claim, let me show you the chips again, the cassava chips, gluten-free, they must be sure that the product is gluten-free or soy-free or whatever free of claim they're using. How can they be sure? Well, to be able to use these claims legally and morally, ethically, to be sure that the product is gluten-free, here's what they should do. They should have a well-tested allergen control program in place. What does that mean? It means that the food manufacturer must have a plan which involves every aspect of production to control, to monitor, and to verify and validate that the product is free of the allergen that they are claiming it to be free of. From the field, which is the farmer, to the shelf in the stores. They must be sure that in any of these steps, so field, farm, transportation, storage, processing, transportation, storage, transportation to their facility, manufacturing, packaging, transportation, and shelves in the store, in any of these steps, that allergen had any chance to end up in the product. How do they do that? An allergen control program is composed by many subunits. It starts with the suppliers. So, let's say a manufacturing company produces these muffins. These muffins contain almond flour, eggs, whatever. Okay, so they source the ingredients. So who are they gonna buy the ingredients from? They're gonna buy the eggs from here, from this manufacturer, the almonds from the other manufacturer, etc., etc. So they have to contact them one by one and ask them to fill an allergen declaration form in which they declare in their facility or in whoever facility supplies the supplier, and so on, if there is any chance that anything containing that allergen, in this case gluten, ended up anywhere in the production areas, in the packaging material, in the product, etc. It's a very complicated process. It's a very detailed form that the supplier has to fill for every allergen. Then the manufacturer should also periodically audit that supplier to check that what they're declaring on the form is true. And then they should self-audit their own company. They should do an allergen risk assessment in their whole facility or facilities if they have more than one. They should add an allergen control education module in the personnel training program, because all the personnel, the workers in the facility, need to be aware what it means to control allergen. They need to know that when they go on lunch break, in the break room, in the lunch room, if they eat a sandwich, for example, and they touch it, that's gluten. That's gonna leave traces on their hands. So they need to know that they have to wash their hands, but if they dry their hands with something that touched some food surfaces, it can transfer again the allergen on their hands. It's a very long story. I could talk for 20 hours here. It cannot be summarized. I'm just mentioning some examples. It's a very extensive training for the personnel, and they have to verify that every worker has been trained using the records, the training records. Then they have to assess all their ingredients, the suppliers of every ingredients. So if some ingredients from the supplier turns out that can contain traces or contains actual in full amounts gluten, it needs to be segregated in a separated area of the facility and needs to be handled in a completely different way, using different carts, different containers, different pans or ovens or whatever. If they share the same equipment before producing the gluten-free product here, everything must be washed, power washed, rinsed, using detergent, rinsed again, verified. Anyway, it's a very detailed allergen control program, and it's not enough. Even if they have everything in place, this program needs to be validated, which means that before actually putting the products in the market, they need to produce test products, trials, and they need to send it to external labs that are certified to test for that allergen. They need to send a good amount of products so that the sent samples, using a sampling program, so that the amount of samples that have been sent for analysis is sufficient enough to be representative of the whole that they produce. And then they need to also get the credentials from the lab that analyzes the product to make sure that the lab is truly equipped to test it. Anyway, it's a long story. Once the product has been validated and they see that it effectively releases products that are free of that allergen, then they can start using the claim. But they have to keep monitoring and validating their whole process, and they have to audit it at least every year, to do self audits in their company to make sure that nothing is being overlooked or missed. But also they have to test every lot. They have to send, before releasing every lot of product for distribution to stores, they have to test, they have to keep it on hold, send a representative sample to the laboratory, to the laboratory for analysis, get it tested for the allergen, receive the results from the lab. When they see that the product is actually free of the allergen, then they can release it for distribution to the stores. That's how you can use this claim here. Let me show you again. Gluten-free. That's when you can write on your package what is written here. Our products are free from gluten. That's when you can use the claim, because it is an official claim that says gluten-free. But at that point, you are sure that there is no mistake. There is no chance, even if your facility has gluten, has wheat when making other products, thanks to the allergen control products, to its validation, to its periodic and continuous monitoring, and to the testing of every lot, you are sure that it's gluten-free, so you can claim gluten-free, so you don't need to put a precautionary statement like this one. Not only you don't need to, but you shouldn't, like this one. Produced in a facility which processes wheat? Why? Why? You have tested your products, you have validated your program, you have an allergen control program that allows you to write, to claim gluten-free. Why are you writing the precautionary statement? That's confusing. It misleads the consumers. If you write it because you're not sure, because maybe, yeah, you control your suppliers, but you don't monitor your employees. Or you control suppliers and employees, but still you have wheat in the facility and you don't send every lot in the lab, or for any other reason, if you are not 100% sure that it's truly gluten-free, then sure, you have to put the precautionary statement, manufacturing in a process, in a facility that processes wheat, or like this other company wrote here, disclaimer, our products are not prepared in a gluten-free facility. Okay, but then you cannot use the claim that it is free of. You cannot write gluten-free because you are not sure that it is gluten-free. You cannot write here, our products are free of gluten. See here, you cannot put the gluten-free mark symbol and write gluten-free on the packaging. Putting both is an absolute contradiction. It's a contradiction in terms. First you claim, then you, where is it? Then you, sorry. Oh gosh, how many did I open? First you claim free of gluten, then you disclaimer. So make peace with yourself. Does it have or not gluten? Is there or not a chance that it contains gluten? One could say, yeah, but I am not sure that it contains gluten. It shouldn't contain gluten, but there is a little chance because we have gluten in facilities, so we are using the precautionary statement or disclaimer. Very well, but you cannot use the gluten-free claim then. Then what do you want? In Italy we have a saying, vuoi la moglie piena e la botte ubriaca. It's an old saying. It's translated in English. I don't know if there is a corresponding idiom in English. I'm just translating it literally. I'm going to translate it. You want your wife drunk and your barrel still full of wine. You can't have both. You can't have both. Either you put the claim, but then you have to make sure it's gluten-free, and you don't put the disclaimer, or you put the disclaimer or warning statement, but you cannot use gluten-free. Maybe they want both. They want to sell the product also to the people with allergy, but then they want to cover themselves if something happens because they don't have a proper allergen control program in place. No, you can't have both. So they should choose either or. I have to say something. I don't know how to say in English. In Italy we say I have to devo spezzare una lancia a loro favore. I have to break a lance on their advantage. I have to admit that in the past I called another company that was doing the same thing. Gluten-free in front, may contain gluten in the back. And I talked with the quality assurance department. They apologized, but they were confused because they said, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. But if that's true, the government needs to get his S word together, literally. They said that the government, I don't want to see which government or which country, told them to still write the statement, even if they are sure it's gluten-free. They had the allergen control program, because they still have gluten in other products in the facility produced during other moments. After they wash, they verify, they swab, everything, they check. But they said, you still have the allergen, you still should write it. Whoever inspector of the government told them this, if it's true, is very confused. Because this confuses people, put them at risk, and does not well to anybody. Because if there is the allergen in the facility, and there is a chance that it ends up in the product, people doesn't read everything. They just see gluten-free in the front, they buy the product, they eat it, they might get sick. And it's a serious problem. I will tell a couple words now. I will make a full video on that topic, on food allergies, but I will mention a couple things now. If they're sure that it's gluten-free, and it's truly gluten-free, they have everything under control, and they write gluten-free, but then behind there is a precautionary warning, watch out, manufactured in a facility that also has gluten in other products, then somebody might get worried and might think, then there is still a chance it's contaminated, I'm not gonna buy it. But he could have bought it. They could have bought it, that food product. They could have eaten it safely. So it doesn't do well for anybody. If there is an allergen control program, it has been validated, and it's being monitored and verified for every lot, they can and they should use, because it's right, the free of claim, but they shouldn't use the warning claim in the disclaimer in the back or the box of the packaging. If they are not 100% sure because it's not verified, validated, etc., then yes, they must put the warning, but they must not, absolutely not, write gluten-free. That's absolutely wrong, inappropriate, immoral, unethical, and illegal in many countries. So guys, I hope it's clear, and make sure, and because this trend is growing, I found more and more products with this problem. If you have a food allergy, a real food allergy, not an intolerance found by those tests that test the blood, if it has IgG against and if hundreds of food, that's scientifically meaningless. That just means that your body touched that food at some point in your life. It doesn't mean you have an allergy. I'm talking about true food allergies, celiac disease, non-celiac gluten sensitivity, diagnosed by an actual doctor or dietitian, milk allergy, not talking about lactose intolerance, soy allergy, crustaceans allergy, fish allergy, nuts, tree nuts, etc., then don't stop at the claim in front. Don't stop at the gluten-free. soy-free, turn the package on all its sides and check if they're trying to be clever to deceive people or not, because it might be the case. It's a growing trend. More and more food manufacturers sadly are doing this. So be very careful with your health. And I said I was going to mention a couple of words on why it's a very serious issue. Guys, when somebody has a true food allergy, meaning that it's an immune mediated food allergy, it means that when they eat that food, it's not the food itself that damages them. It's not an indigestion, like, oh my gosh, I ate too many beans, I feel bloated. It's not an indigestion. It's not a mechanical problem that the food is stuck in your belly and it's bothering you a little bit. No, it's different. The immune system of your body finds that antigen, in this case is gluten, in other case it's a casein from milk, etc. It thinks, it's confused, nobody knows why, it gets confused, it thinks it's an enemy, it's an invader, like a bacteria, like a bug, a microbe. And it builds up an attack. But there is no enemy, it's just food. So that attack is misguided. The immune system of the body ends up attacking the body itself. That's why somebody who has a food allergy can have a reaction on their skin or in their thyroid. The immune system might destroy the thyroid. It seems that some food allergies lead to that. Or skin reaction. Why skin reaction? The guy ate the food, it went in the gastrointestinal tract. It didn't touch the skin on their leg. Why are they having a rash on their leg? It doesn't make sense. No, it makes perfectly sense. Because it's not an indigestion that would bother you only on your belly. It's an immune-mediated reaction. It's not the food that is damaging you if you have a food allergy. It's the immune system that is damaging your body because it found a food that didn't like. The immune system is everywhere. So it can not only attack your gastrointestinal tract, like it happens in the celiac disease or the most notorious gluten allergy, but the immune system is everywhere. It's in your skin, so it can attack your skin. It's in your thyroid, it's in your brain. People with non-celiac gluten allergy had seizures, had epilepsy. When they got rid of gluten, the epileptic attacks stopped. The immune system was attacking the brain. The immune system is everywhere. It can attack anywhere. And it's been shown that for people with an allergy to one of these kind of allergies, immune-mediated, not indigestion, immune-mediated allergy to gluten, one exposure to gluten can damage the thyroid for months. Imagine somebody with a food allergy. Imagine you having an allergy to gluten. You're making a lot of sacrifices, renouncing to food you used to love, changing your life, your habits, living a very complicated life. You have to check everything you buy, keep everything separated from the kitchen if somebody else in the house is eating gluten, separate knife, fork, dishes, cutter, toaster, everything separate. Have 10 eyes when you move around in the kitchen, cook separately. It's a very complicated life. It's painful. Sacrifices, money spent, renounces, time wasted, etc. And then because of somebody's cheating with the labels, intentionally or unintentionally, I don't care. It is cheating. It is cheating. It's dangerous. Then you get one exposure because you see, oh, gluten-free. See here in the front, it says gluten-free. But they have gluten in the facility and they are unable to control it fully. So you get sick, and maybe you get sick you get your immune system attacking your thyroid for 3 months. All your sacrifices, time spent, money spent, life complicated, etc., nullified. By one mistake of these guys, it's absolutely unfair, unjust, inappropriate, immoral, illegal. It shouldn't be done, it shouldn't happen. So please, food manufacturers, don't do this. If you are sure and you have a validated and regularly tested allergen control program, put the free claim, but don't put the warning statement, and keep testing every lot before releasing it in the market to be safe. If you are not 100% sure that the products you are producing by any chance contain traces of that allergen, put the precautionary statement or disclaimer, but don't put gluten-free. Don't put the claim. That's very important. Don't deceive people. Thank you. Thank you everybody for watching. Take care and see you whenever I have time to make the full video on... this is more on the side of the industry, of the product itself. Then I will make a video, God willing, about the human body, about the problem of the allergy from the biology, from the biochemistry, immunology point of view with the human body. Thank you and all the best, everybody. Thanks for watching. Feel free to follow, to click like, whatever. I have also the YouTube channel, Race Research at Your Service, where I'm gonna put the same video. I'm gonna upload that there too. Thanks. All the best. Be careful.